Welcome to the RGA Members Podcast, where we elevate professionals in our network, one guest at a time. My name is Matt Coots. I'm the COO of RGA Network. RGA is a membership organization for business professionals. We are a connection and relationship organization that's focused on providing tools, education, and growth opportunities to our members. So today I am here with Cristy Berry. She is the owner and CEO of BeFit Holistic Health and Wellness. She is a board certified doctor of holistic health, which one of my best friends is as well. So I can't wait to get into some of these fascinating topics because I just know that we geek out all the time. So Cristy, tell us a little bit about what got you into the business. Tell us a little bit about yourself and just a little bit of your history here.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, Matt. I'm super excited to be able to share with you really what got me into holistic health. It started about 15 years ago with my own health journey. And I found myself really struggling with finding someone who would listen to me and someone who would give me some health options that were actually helping me. They tried to do all these different tests that I was perfectly fine. Nothing was wrong with me, but I did not feel fine. I felt just the opposite of that. And my health was declining no matter what was attempted. So no medications were working, no strategies were working, doctor after doctor, specialist after specialist, and I got very frustrated. So I just decided either I had two options really. One was just to say, okay, this is how I'm going to feel. I'm going to be like this the rest of my life, and I'm just going to have to deal with being debilitated and no quality of life, or I'm going to figure this out on my own. And the kind of person I am is when you tell me I can't do something, I'm going to do just the opposite and I'm going to go figure it out. So
I
that's,
knew we were going to be best friends.
yeah, that's how I've survived my life. So that's exactly what I did. A little history and background is I am also a personal trainer, started doing that over 20 years ago, also was certified as a nutritionist. And so I have a background understanding this, but I was really struggling understanding why and what was going on with my body at a deeper level. And so once I really dove into that, really understanding biology class from college, going back to that, and understanding really what was going on with my body, what was causing the symptoms, and figuring out how to support those organs and really healing myself, that's what I did. So I've been on a journey for the last 15 years. And I like to tell people it's a journey because I'm not fixed yet. It's a constant work when we're actually helping our bodies sustain a healthy level, feeling optimal, not just surviving. And you can't just wake up one day and be like, yes, I finally reached the finish line. I'm going to stop. No, you got to keep going. You just may change your path as to what you're doing. So that's where it all started. And I'm really excited to be able to use the stuff that I've learned to help heal my own body because I thought I can't just keep this a secret. I've got to really share my story and help other people. So that drove me into really digging into holistic health. And back in February, I got board certified as a doctor of holistic health, really taking my
Mhm.
education up a lot of notches here, and
Absolutely.
plan on
Yeah.
pursuing my PhD in the next year and a half. I am really constantly learning because I want to give the best education that I can and the best support for people that I'm reaching.
Yeah. I think that education's a core component of what we believe in too. Just trying to make the leap from helping people to not just do things trying to see what works, but to actually have a plan and just keep moving, progressing forward and their journey. So that's super cool. Tell me a little bit about like you having been in this a while now. What are some of the recent trends or things that you're seeing? I know I didn't prep you for this at all, but I know there's a medication that's out there that
Yes.
it's not meant to be a weight loss drug or anything like that, not to get into specific medication, but just seems like it's a little bit of a shortcut. And
Yeah.
if you don't take the holistic approach to change your lifestyle from nutrition through exercise, no amount of shortcuts are gonna help you in the long run. So give me your thoughts on all of that.
Yeah, Matt, I'm glad you brought that up because that's exactly something that I'm super passionate about sharing about right now. I don't do things that are trendy, but I do want to
Mhm.
help people who are in the midst of feeling like they have to follow that trend. yes, there are programs, medications, things that are being used off label. And I always say that medication has a purpose at times for people in certain situations. But when we start using things out of context, that's when we get into trouble because they're not tested. We don't know ramifications of what's going to happen long term. And we've seen that over the past few years and how things have progressed with using things that we're not for sure how they're going to interact with us long term. Yeah, that's one of them. It's really the diet industry. And I take people down a path using natural herbal supplements, functional health, lifestyle changes, exactly what you said, because that's where it begins. All of my programs begin there. We have to talk about the things in your lifestyle that have gotten you where you are, that are keeping you stuck. And people who are looking for weight loss, because that is the trend now, people want that magic thing. They've always wanted it, right?
We've always wanted the
But
magic.
right. We saw that with Biggest Loser years and years ago.
Yeah.
Everybody, was hooked on that show, including myself. I was like, wow, this is amazing. But we know that if you're not doing something that's sustainable, that it's not going to last long term. And so that's what I'm finding is I'm finding people who are hopping on to using these weight loss medications that are intended for helping with diabetes. We also know that they have some long term side effects, some immediate ones for some people, but also long term. Those are the patients that I'm seeing right now. They're coming to me saying, I'm not well. I'm actually worse off now than I was before. Blood sugar and insulin levels are out of sight. They're off the
Right.
charts when I look at their labs from a functional perspective. They don't feel well. They've gained all the weight plus some back. They've lost massive
Mm.
amounts of muscle. And that's what we're finding. When we talk about weight loss, and I like to say fat loss because we don't want to just lose weight, we want to lose body fat to be in a healthier
Right.
range. We have to understand that if we're not doing it the right way, we're also losing important muscle. We're losing bone. That's not what we want to lose because we got to keep that as we start to age. And that's an important thing because if you're losing muscle mass, that is what keeps you not only strong, but also helps rev up that metabolism. When we increase in muscle mass, I tell my ladies this all the time, you have to lift weights. Most men don't have an issue with lifting heavier weights, but most women struggle with that. But we have to lift weights in order to keep that muscle mass, to be able to keep the body's metabolism fired up and going if we want to keep that sustainable. There's a lot of different components that go with that, but foundationally, we got to start at the bottom. We got to start fixing those decisions at the dinner table. And I always say you can't outwork your fork. So we got to fix the root cause of what's got us to where we are, whether it's our health situation or a body mass issue. We can't just jump to the next fad thing because we're going to see repercussions from that, which people are seeing now. And if you stay on this long term, it's going to end very poorly for you because you're going to cause catastrophic damage to the cellular health of your body. And, I've actually have a program that helps people lose body fat the right way. It takes work, but it's worth it in the end.
100%.
Yeah.
Let me in line with that. Do you have any, would you call them lessons that you've learned along the way from your journey of helping people? And I know you said that this was a personal journey for you as well.
Mhm.
So is there anything that you've learned that was a setback, but at the same time, you learned from it and it contributed to being where you are now?
Yeah, I think one of the biggest things is just letting people give you information and saying, okay, yeah, I'm going to do that. Just taking someone's
Okay.
word for it. I even challenge people that want to come see me and embark on a different health journey. Do your own research, be an advocate for yourself. And that's the biggest thing
Yeah.
I tell people is just advocate for yourself and your family members who can't. Because if we don't that we don't have the confidence, we're not empowered to make those decisions. And then we may look back on our journey and say, just like I did, I made some decisions that are now irreversible. I can't change them. And they've caused me additional problems because I just took someone's word for it, thinking, okay, they must be smarter than I am. They have more education. They do this for a living. They're experts, right? But they didn't know what was best for me. And we all know what's best for our own self. And you should
Right.
investigate your body, start listening to it. It tells you things all the time, but who listens, right?
Right. No, seriously. I know for me personally, one of the biggest things is just consistently doing something. Even if I'm not going as hard as I can, I'm not mentally in the space, I don't have the energy. That doesn't mean that
Yeah.
I shouldn't do something, even if it's just getting out and being active for 30 minutes, going for a walk or whatnot. So yeah, for me, the biggest thing has always been consistency. And then of course, not try not to stuff my face at every opportunity that's provided. So there's always that challenge as well. Because I definitely am one of
Yeah,
those
you
people
brought it.
who works out to be able to eat. So there you go.
Yeah, we got to
um,
change
so
that.
let's
But
talk.
but
We
consistency
gotta
is a
change that.
big
We gotta
thing.
change that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And historically, I was an athlete, so weight never stayed on. Now I'm a little bit older. As I've gotten older, I don't play sports 6 hours a night, 5 days a week. I don't do that anymore. Now it's more of intentionality and making sure I'm getting to the gym and doing all the things, which, and when you're an entrepreneur and a busy professional, that's oftentimes the first thing that we sacrifice is things that we need for ourselves. So
Right.
it's definitely one of those. I don't really believe in work life balance, or I should say, not in like the 50-50 status quo or anything like that. I think
Right.
everybody has their own level on the work balance. Some people operate very well with less personal time, but I think that it's all cycles. And especially if you are like a very high performing individual who works constantly, I think you have cycles through life. At least that's what I've seen. So let me ask you this, kind of getting onto this whole business. Obviously, you own your own small business, you're doing this, you're helping people. What are some of the key strategies or programs that you've built and that you are out there sharing in the marketplace that have seemed to be effective and that seem to resonate in your market? What are some of the unique things that you're doing? Or not even unique, just what are some of the things that you are specifically doing?
Yeah, I think really what makes me unique is that I am a holistic practitioner. And a lot of
Mhm.
people don't really understand what holistic means. It's a word that we throw around like the word love, like I love pizza, but you also love your
I
spouse.
do
And
love
those are,
pizza.
that's good. But we can't use the same word all the time. You can't tell your
Mhm.
spouse you love them like you love pizza. It's just not the same. Maybe someone loves
Yeah.
pizza as much as they love their spouse, but probably not. But that's one of the things we have to think about when it comes to our health is holistic. So I look at the physical aspects. I'll look at functional labs. I'll look at what you're doing in your lifestyle. I'll look at the stress components, sleep, hydration, a whole gamut of different things that most holistic practitioners or practitioners in general, I'll just say, don't even consider, right? They're just looking at the symptom aspect. I'm looking at what's causing that symptom. The symptom is just a reflection of what's down inside. So you think of the roots in a tree, the leaves are the symptom. So it's the expression of what's happening deep underneath the ground and the roots. But what do we typically do? We don't treat the roots on a tree. We go chop off the branch when it's dying, right?
Right.
We need to figure out what's wrong with the tree underneath the ground. And so that's what I really do is I dig in to figure out what is systemically happening in a person, but I also focus on the mental aspect and the spiritual aspect of healing. A lot of us have emotional trauma from the past. That's something I discovered about myself is those things keep us trapped in the state of being that we're
Mhm.
in and keep us in a sick state. And we may not realize the impact on us immediately, but over time, it is going to take a toll on our bodies. So spiritually and mentally, because if we're not giving our first of the day to God, if we're not pouring into ourselves, like you mentioned earlier, some self-care, we can't pour into other people, especially as entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, we're owning our own businesses. We're going to get burned out. And so when you take that holistic approach, and looking at every aspect of your life and figuring out how can we make all those things better. It's hard. I understand because I live it every day. But what I say is a progress, not perfection. So if you can be 1% better tomorrow at something in your life that you need to change or make an impact on, then do that 1% because we're not aiming for perfection. None of us can reach that. We'd be foolish if we thought we could. But taking that holistic approach is what makes me different because I add in the physical aspect of it. Exercise is super important, getting out and getting sun. Some people may not be able to physically go to the gym and get on machines and lift weights, but we can move our bodies each and every day. And the nutrition aspect, because I don't know about you, Matt, but anytime I ever went to a physician, a doctor, they never asked me about what I was eating or how much sunlight I got a day or what I was doing
Right.
mentally to help myself, right? They never asked me any of that stuff. And so that's what I think is important and really different about the program that I offer is I really want people to see themselves as a whole person and not just pieces that we're trying to fix individually because it all works together. No one I
Right.
know has
Right.
ever told me that they have to think about breathing and their heart beating when they wake up in the morning. It just works, right? So we need to
There.
let our body work the way it's supposed to do it and get out of the way.
Into just asking professionally in your business, what are some of your, call them long-term goals, call them aspirations? Where would you like to see? A lot of people would consider it like, what is the impact that they're trying to make? I wouldn't go as far as to ask the question about legacy right now, but just what are some of your long-term goals or aspirations for what you're trying to accomplish?
Yeah, I think first and foremost, it's just leaving a legacy for my family, making an
Yeah.
impact long term for my adult children so that they see that what I'm doing, pouring into other people, but also pouring into myself. It was my own kids who told me, and that was a wake up call that said, Mom, you need to take some time for yourself. And I was like, oh, wow. I never thought of that years ago. I just thought, especially being a mom, a wife, like I'm just supposed to give to other people. And so now I've realized that the legacy is teaching them to care for themselves, not selfishly, because I think we have that misconception, but also doing things and teaching my own children, even though they're adults now, they've been with me down this road for a long time things that are gonna actually change and impact their health long term because, they're young in their 20s, and so they can make changes now that will, alter their future. Where, if you wake up and in your 40s, I'm not saying it's too late, but if you could go back in
Good.
time, tell your younger self something, I would have done things very differently. But the more you know, the better you do. Whatever the age is, if you're a parent, that's something you need to be looking at making an impact on your kids and not just thinking about how's this going to affect me now, but it's the impact that you're going to have on your family. And so the legacy really is for my family, but also when people are working with me, when they are on their own and they're driving that car by themselves and they're feeling very confident and empowered, that's what I want to see. I want to see them shine bright and have that vigor for life back because they've accomplished something that they never thought they could ever do. And it doesn't have to be some big, huge transformation that you would see on a television show. It's something that's changed inside of them like a butterfly. And they've now discovered themselves and they have a whole new insight and really passion and joy for life.
Awesome. Awesome. So just a recap there, leaving a little bit of a legacy for your family, an example, sustainability, progress, and then at the same time, helping people get back to a healthier and more enjoyable quality of life, we can call it
Yeah.
possibly.
Yeah.
It's funny that you said this because I swear to God, before you even said this phrase, I was like, this was going to be the question I was going to ask you, like of my ending questions. So yeah, you touched on it, and I was like, "Oh, it's appropriate." If you could go back in time and give your earlier, younger self one piece of business advice, what would it be?
I would just follow your passion. Don't let fear hold you back from accomplishing your dreams because so many times we do that thinking, I'm not smart enough. I'm not capable enough, or you manifest all these reasons why you can't do something because we often compare ourselves to other people. And I think especially this hits us as being business entrepreneurs or solopreneurs is because we always see someone else succeeding and we think we can never do that. So we limit ourselves. But if you take that fear out, and it's a constant work, it's not, oh, I'm just going to decide today I'm not going to fear anything. No, you have to work on this daily, but don't hold yourself back from accomplishing something that was a God given talent and gift that you have and a passion that you're meant to pursue.
I love it. Awesome. Okay, to wrap things up here, Christy, how can people find you? How can they get a hold of you? What's your web address? Do you have a favored social media account? All of those things.
Yeah, I can be reached at BFit Wellness on Facebook and Instagram. You can also look me up, Cristy Berry. My website is BFit, the letter BFIT with Cristy, CRISTY.com. If you need some help figuring that out, just reach out to Matt or I. We'll direct you. But I'm really loving getting connected and creating a sense of community. So if you're in the health and wellness space and you want to collaborate, I think that is the best way to be able to encourage each other. I'm here to help. So
I think the world needs more people just trying to create positive change, whether that's in health, wellness, sustainable living, all those things. So, absolutely. And that was actually one of the other questions that I had marked as possibly asking you was how you feel about partnerships and collaborations. Because
yeah.
inside of RGA, we are very big on collaborating versus competing with each other. So, obviously, it's a great opportunity to do events together and help market with each other and do all the things. As our mission here at RGA is to help empower our business community. This podcast is an important part of that mission because it gives you and the rest of our members a platform to promote and share their businesses, their story, their mission. So thank you, Cristy, for participating today.
Yeah.
All things RGA, of course, all things RGA can be found on our website at www.rganetwork.net or any of your preferred social media channels. And I look forward to seeing everybody again soon. And Cristy, I'll see you at a meeting soon.
All right. Sounds good. Thanks, Matt.